Welcome back to another episode of Just Some Perspective. Today, nothing makes sense, and it all comes down to your mindset. So, recently went to a matrimonial event at the behest of a friend visiting in town over the weekend, and at first I was hesitant to go, and then I weighed my options and decided, what the hell, let's check it out. And the biggest difference maker for myself and most people is simply my outlook and my mindset towards it. Okay? My outlook and my mindset is I don't have expectations. I'm just going to go. I'm going to introduce myself, mingle, talk, see if there's good connections, have a good time, and that's it. Right? Hardly any, if at all, expectations. And so, honestly, I got a kick out of being there with my buddy and also meeting other cool people, cool Muslim bachelors, people that I also knew or met before. And I think we formed a little bit of a bond. We formed a little bit of a bond over our shared experiences and shared struggles, if you will. And if I had to summarize modern day dating relationships, basically it doesn't make sense. Nothing makes sense. And that's okay. Once you accept that nothing makes sense, your mindset and perspective will shift like that. And it should make things a little, hopefully, smoother. And also, they say the truth shall set you free, right? So you won't be trapped under this false narrative or perception of life or something, okay? So, what do I mean by nothing makes sense? Okay, so quick context. I'm speaking to the choir. I'm going to try not to beat the head on the horse, if you will, too much. We live in the latter half of the year 2025, okay? Technology at its all-time highest. AI about to make a major, if not already drastic impact in everyday life forever going forward, and there's no changing that. Social media dominates, okay? It's completely changed our kind of view and perspective on life and the world. Modern day relationships are more difficult than ever, and also you're viewing on a screen on a daily basis the lives of millions of whatever other people and seemingly people who seem to be doing better in life or whatever. So you're comparing, most people are comparing their worst to others' best, which is a big no-no. And then with dating and relationships, okay, I'm going to speak from a South Asian background and Muslim background here. Going to an event with a platform that is designed to connect people of similar background, similar religious background, similar cultural, ethnic background, that still doesn't guarantee anything. Okay? It doesn't guarantee success. It doesn't, you're not guaranteed a higher percentage of success because you share these things in common, right? So, okay, went to this Muslim matrimonial event hosted by a Muslim dating app, if you will. And it's funny because the tagline says Muslims don't date, they marry. However, quite literally, this is a dating app for the purposes of marriage. But still, you can't separate dating from this process, right? So that's an oxymoron from the tagline to start with, number one. And then number two, a lot of people actually are going to event after event in different cities, by the way, in the US, meeting scores of people, maybe in the hundreds or more, and still have not had success finding a suitable partner or even a prospect that can continue past a few dates or whatever, right? So what does that say? What does that tell me? That tells me that number one, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results, which we already know. And number two, increasing your numbers, just strictly increasing your exposure of numbers of people that you interact with or mingle or meet does not improve your chances necessarily. does not necessarily improve your success rate with dates and or long-term relationships or more. And I've met people over this weekend for that reason, right? Now, okay, so quick context in Islam, yes, and I'm not a scholar or anything like that. However, I'm Muslim, and I am I like to think a good believer, a steadfast believer. Marriage is the purpose. Marriage is basically expected, and as a Muslim, you're supposed to, especially they say complete half your deen, which is like half your faith, by being in a loving marriage between, by the way, man and woman, very strictly. There's no delineation here in Islam. It is specifically male and female. That is it. So, yeah, it is part of being Muslim, especially an adult, especially a capable of adult who is supposed to meet someone who is also on an equivalent value, or from a good family, good values, etc., that are want to be partner for life. Okay, but guess what? We live in a world where there are single bachelor guys who are pushing 40, if not above, who are making really solid income, who are in good shape, who, for the most part, take care of their mental and physical health, right? Besides like a couple of outliers or something. So people are in shape, people are making good money, people are way more mature, especially in their mid 30s and up. Okay, people are traveling, people are finding career success, business success, right? Still, these people are single, and still these people can't find any partner at all. Which means what? Nothing makes sense. And at the flip side, on the female side, before you guys come at me, everyone's getting older, number one, okay? And unfortunately, reality is that the older a female gets, that does not necessarily mean the greater in value or the more desirable she will be, right? If that was the case, then there wouldn't be single 40-year-old plus females all over and having a hard time trying to find a partner. Don't shoot the messenger, okay? So, yeah, and it's funny because you would think that a lot of females who are pushing an age where they're not at their highest potential attractiveness, and I mean objectively, okay? I don't mean their own personal value or whatever. Objective attractiveness from the opposite gender, how males or opposite gender views you, right? From attractiveness, it doesn't get higher from your mid 30s and up. There's no way. It cannot be, because otherwise they would have no problem finding partners, and they do, for a fact. And so you would think the older they're getting, the more inclined they would be to partner up with someone, a couple up with someone who meets their criteria. But they still have high standards, which I'm very surprised with, because it's not like you're getting younger. And I mean, yes, no one's getting younger. But look, life isn't fair. Number one, we all know that, and the rules is not the same. Like I said, nothing makes sense, and yeah, as a woman gets older, and you can be offended if you feel like it. The offense is not intended. However, a female in her mid 30s and up is not more attractive than a female who is in her mid 20s or lower. Sorry. So, okay, that being said, most guys there, right? Okay, so these guys have grown up in different cultures, okay? Most of them are second generation Americans like myself. Okay, and so they grew up educated, okay, with loving parents for the most part, because divorce is not that common in this culture, and at least previous generations. And then what? They found career success, okay, business success, okay. They meet like-minded people, they network, right? For the most part, a lot of them are in decent shape, especially in their mid 30s and up. They're not really out of shape, not much. They're in decent shape. And they're also traveling to different cities and states to go to events to potentially match or meet people that could lead to a long-term relationship, marriage. And still they're having trouble. Okay. And then from the lady side, when the ones I talk to, my mindset is simple. Okay, if she was really interested, then we would have a good, nice conversation that could lead to a connection on the app or on the phone or whatever, right? Which would lead to a next step date or something. If she was feeling me, right? Any female who's feeling a guy is gonna make it easy for him uh, to get her number or to talk to her, keep in touch, follow up, whatever. It's gonna be the case. If she's not interested, I'm not gonna bother, waste my time. Nice to meet you. God bless. On to the next one. Okay. And so, yeah, I noticed. I feel bad for a lot of people, especially men. Okay, females have your own challenges. Not saying they don't. Men today, they do feel hopeless. A lot of them, and because number one, they're not expanding their mindset and their perspective, and they're not trying to understand that they're in a game, whether they like it or not. We are in a game, and once you understand and accept that you are in fact playing a game, then you can understand what moves I can make to improve my chances of winning said game. Okay, today's dating is a game. Okay, because both sides have certain level of expectations, and apparently no one's meeting them. But it doesn't make sense because what people say they want and what they actually respond to are totally different. And if stability and being matured in age and financially secure and whatever was all it take, then there would be not even close to as many single people and male bachelors in their 30s who are South Asian or whatever as there clearly are today. Okay, and I've noticed that. Now, that being said, right, when you bring people together, nobody can force someone to like someone. We know that. No one can force someone to like someone. And you can there's a saying, you can lead the horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Yeah, I haven't heard that in a while. So you can create an atmosphere, okay, welcoming atmosphere, good vibes, bring people together and try to make an equivalent ratio, okay, male and female. But you can't guarantee success or connections or coupling up from doing that, okay? Modern day relationships and dating does not make any sense. Here, let me explain. If women say they like tall guys, well, there's plenty of tall guys that are single, okay? If women say they want guys making six figures, there's plenty of people making six figures that are single. If females say they want a guy in good shape and 35 and up, there's plenty of guys that fit that description, still single, okay? Fellas, it doesn't matter if you're tall, it doesn't matter if you're rich or really wealthy, it doesn't matter if you're financially successful or career success or you're in good shape. It doesn't matter because guys, many people have all of that and still struggling. So that means the whole game is messed up. The whole game is messed up. And ladies, yeah, you're free to choose whoever you want, however the clock is ticking, and it's not kind as the longer it ticks. I'm just gonna be frank, okay? It's not the same for males. Life isn't fair. It is what it is, but it's just true. And what else? So my fellow bachelors out there, I'm actually happy being your wingman. I'm happy being a hype guy. Okay, I'm actually there. Like I said, no expectation, just vibing with my friends. I'm there to be confidence booster for them. Look, I know being rejected sucks. Pretty much every guy knows that being rejected sucks. Approach anxiety, okay, the fear of rejection, okay. Not only that, but the fear of like wasting your time and like putting energy and effort into someone or something that doesn't reciprocate. None of that is fun or none of that is desirable. However, in this game, there is no escape from the fact that unfortunately it is still numbers game. But that being said, doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results is not the answer, right? So if you're not working on yourself, being in the best physical shape possible. If you have a gut, if you're not, if you can't do like 30, 40 push-ups in a row without dying or something, get in the gym. Okay, get in the gym, get in shape. If your diet is not on point, okay, improve your diet. Ask ChatGPT for a diet plan based on your requirements. Get it done. If you're not making six figures, I'm sorry to say, in your mid 30s, and that's not to say for people who have been in school for many years pursuing like a doctorate or something, or a medical degree or whatever, okay, a residency. I'm not saying that, but if you've been a professional for a decade plus, okay, a professional, and especially in the corporate world anywhere, you definitely need to be making six figures after that point, okay? You must be, right? So if you're not, get your money up, finances, improve your faith, okay? And then finding purpose, being purpose driven, being purposeful, that should override a lot of anxiety and depression like symptoms and feelings you may have from the modern life. Okay? Yes, life isn't fair. Yes, the dating game is not fair and it doesn't make sense. Yes, it's messed up for everyone, male and female alike. And yes, going to events gives you a slightly higher chance of matching with someone, okay? But it doesn't guarantee success. So you're still going to have to work on all those things. And what else did I notice? It's in the Desi community, right? In Muslim community, like marriage is expected. We've for millennia plus, Muslims as a whole found someone to marry and create mostly a lifetime bond with them, okay, and had children and family, and that is a holy matrimony under God, as mentioned in Islam, in the Quran, okay? So it's expected to be there. However, in 2025, right, people are more independent, male and female, but mostly female, and then that people also have the ability to choose who they want and what they want. The problem is what they want, they don't even know. And when you get something and you're not happy, you end up wanting something else. Or even if you are, you end up wanting more. And that's another problem. But anyway, the dating game is messed up. It doesn't make sense. Okay, if people say they like tall guys, there are tall guys that are single. If people say they like guys with six packs, there are guys with six packs that are single. Okay, if people say they want a female with with no dating history or virgin or whatever it is, plenty of them, they're still single. So it's a mess for everyone. Just accept the fact that it is a mess. Accept the fact that it's a game, and accept the fact that it's out of your control. Okay, whether someone likes you or not. However, what is in your control is your mentality, your mindset, your fitness. That is in your control. Okay, you can work out better. You can be in better shape. You can be stronger. You can lose weight. You can make more money. Right? Not that money is everything. Just saying that in this capitalistic society, there's no escaping it. And then you can definitely be closer to your deen and to your faith and to your purpose. All things are important. I'd say more important than just finding a partner. Okay. And so, yeah, I had a good time. Luckily, I had no expectations. I don't care. I matched with a chick. If your expectations is even a tad bit above and you fail to meet, you're going to end up disappointed. Guess what? There's a formula for happiness. Happiness, as has been said, is where your expectations meet your reality. So if you don't have expectations to match or get numbers or meet a certain number of people, then your reality is not going to be that bad. It's not going to be upset, right? Okay, and lastly, with mindset is everything. So parking was a nightmare over the weekend where the event was hosted somewhere in the downtown Dallas area. It was an absolute shit show, complete mess in a part of town that I would never usually go to, okay, if not for this event. But I'm happy to be there for my buddy, have a good time. In general, I was a wingman to fellow guys, and we had a good conversations, etc. And I met some decent ladies, and etc. So parking was a nightmare. I found a parking spot, which I ended up getting booted. But guess what? I paid for parking and I followed the rules based on this parking area. And when I saw I was booted, I did not freak out. I did not panic. I said, look, I got to make the best move on the chessboard. I got to call I have no choice but to call towing company. Okay, no problem. I'll explain my case to the gentleman who with the boot thing, and once I had to wait 20 plus minutes with a buddy of mine, and a friend was waiting somewhere else, but it's out of my hands. So once the gentleman came, I said, "Sir, I paid for it. I have my receipt. You like to see?" "Oh yeah, you paid?" "Yes, sir." Boom! As soon as I showed him, he removed the boot, and no additional fine was needed. Thank God. What does that mean? Mindset. Okay, I did not freak out. I did not get pissed off. It's not going to help. I did not start crying like a girl. No offense. I said, what is the best move I can make? And that is to obviously, call them and do my thing, and just explain the situation, not worry about what's not in my control. My friend might be freaking out, but then again, his mindset is not where mine is. And what do you know? We resolved finding another parking space. We had to go from one to another to finally get one, and it took me my buddy was waiting for like an hour plus, but I literally told him I'm sorry because we had a situation I couldn't avoid it, and there's something I can do. But anyway, like I said, it comes back to your mindset. Don't focus on the problem, focus on the solution. Okay, and your feelings is not exactly gonna improve the solution, the situation, right? What's the next best move I can make? You have to make that move. The next best move I can make, the best potential move I can make right now based on the circumstances, is the only move one can make. Okay? So, yeah. And not to mention, I have sensitive hearing, and there was a lot of loud ass sounds in this area. And I don't frequent this place. I've only been to a really cool hookah lounge in this area with my friends for birthdays or fun events or whatever, and when I was invited. So what the heck? Had a good time. Saya in Dallas, I recommend. But yeah, parking was a bitch there, and I do not desire to frequent these locations on my own accord, if not for a reason like an event, a social gathering, or a birthday celebration of some kind. So yeah, anyway, the game is messed up. It's more messed up than ever. Just accept the fact that it is messed up, and you will do better. Hopefully, figure out what's the best move on the chessboard. Fellas, don't worry about what's not in your control. You can't make anyone like you. You can't even make someone text you back and call you the next day. Okay, so don't worry about it, right? What you can do is become in the best physical shape you can possibly be in. Take care of your mental health by any means possible, such as meditation, long walks, hiking, whatever it is. Get your money up, okay? Because your finances aren't going to take care of themselves, especially with modern days inflation and bills. And then leave connecting with people. That's all you can do, is put your best foot forward and see if there's a vibe. If there is, cool. Talk to them, see if that continues. If not, God bless, on to the next, okay? Focus on what's in your control, not what is not, and other people are not in your control. Awesome. With that, if you hit the like this quick vlog, hit the like button, subscribe for more. And with that, this is Mosh. Remember, it's just a little perspective.